good evening, and welcome. This is Lisa D. Adams, your seesaw maven. Welcome to Help Me Help My Son, an ongoing conversation. And with me this evening, I have Pastor Howard Lindsay. Good evening, Pastor Lindsay.
Good evening, Lisa. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with me this evening. Again, 1,000 times. Thank you, you and your handsome young men for being and help me help my son. I really appreciate you all. And so it's just funny that we would do a movie, a documentary about help me help my. Say that again. Okay, you okay? You okay? I'm starting to hear a little feedback now. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going, but it's funny that we would do a film called Help Me Help My Son before all of this happened. And now this is happening. Now we're
Hello. We are
hello,
really having some problems here today.
we're gonna push through this. We're gonna push through this. I can see you. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me, Pastor Lindsay? Hello. 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 Are you still there? Device is not connected. Okay, so we're gonna add.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, so I have you up. I can't hear you. Okay, so let's get rid of that
I
one
hear you.
there. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, can you see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I see you and I
Okay,
hear you.
wonderful.
Okay. So,
Wonderful. See, we're not going to be defeated. We're going to keep pushing. So what I was saying is we did the movie. And then now we got this going on. Is it messing up again?
no, I got you. I'm still here.
Okay. So now this is going on. So, if I would normally say what's happening after the movie, but we know what's happening. We
Yeah.
see all of this. And
Yes.
where do we go from here?
Lisa, I'm telling you, this is, I've never seen anything like this in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
Literally, nothing has compared to what we're seeing now. Um, and I had conversation with some of the millennials, some Generation X, and of course our generation, and everybody had their own spin on it. Nobody seems to
Hmm.
be on the same page as to why um, people are doing what they're doing, and where some people look at the looting as criminal, some people look at the looting as expression of what people have been feeling for over a period of time. When you say it to me like that, I try to keep an open mind, but at the same time, it still doesn't justify it. But I do understand the hurt and the pain. And I believe that we have a generation now. Um, okay, so like one young man told me that our generation, and a generation before us, has done nothing but march and pray. And they said marching
Mm,
and prayer has not gotten us anywhere. And I said, if you say marching and praying has not gotten us anywhere, then it's evident that you don't know where we were before we started marching and praying.
okay.
Because it's through a lot of the marching and a lot of protesting and a whole lot of praying that changed a whole lot of things. Our generation this generation now is kind of not connected to God as much as the previous generations. And so I believe that they're more hands on to doing what they feel is right instead of actually, sitting down, planning, and strategizing on what they should do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So I had this conversation as well with my son, and we were talking about the looting and this, that, and the other. And we had different opinions on it. So my opinion was like, you know what, I am for the protesting. Wrong is wrong. I don't care. Wrong is wrong. And so I'm sorry. Um Wrong is wrong. And so my son and I have had this conversation, and he says to me when we talk about the looting, because let me tell you, when I drove through Cottage Grove in the 80s on Cottage Grove, it is like, wow, everything is boarded up. It's hard to get to the grocery stores. Now you have to go far beyond your in your neighborhood. You have to go just that much further out. The people who need medicines. I've received pictures of the Walgreens that
Mm-hmm.
have been torn up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just been heartbreaking to me. And so my son says to me, he says, this is we hit them where it hurt at. We're hitting them where they hurt it. Where we've always been hit with it, and said that nothing nothing has gotten their attention until this happened. And I'm like, well, it's gotten their attention, but we're too suffering from it. You have our seniors who rely on the Walgreens that's in walking distance, or that could just take that one little bus right there, and it's going to allow them to get off at the corner, and they're going to be able to um, get their medicines and whatnot. But now it's something different.
My thing is okay, and I believe that I believe that the voices are actually being heard through the actions that have
Hmm.
transpired. But what is the next that you have planned? You know,
Hmm.
you've been heard, but where's the agenda for what is next? That's why I posted. I said, it's one thing to do what you did and feel right in what you're doing. However, when they repair it and open up all those stores again, are we still taking our black dollars to those same stores?
Exactly.
You know, I had a
Exactly.
video about one grown man, our senior, crying on Facebook because they were tearing up his store. This was an African American. He's yelling at them saying, "That's my store. I spent a lot trying to get this business up and running, but they still tore up his store."
Yeah.
So there wasn't really an agenda. They were just tearing. I guess maybe that was the agenda. Let's just tear up everything everywhere, you know. And what's remarkable about it, at least, it wasn't just Minnesota. It was everywhere, you know.
I know. I know. It was worldwide.
See, that's that power of
World.
that social media. That's the power of social media. And see, that goes to show you that our young people can organize, because I
Mhm.
really believe that they organized. Even down here, downtown, 99% of the young people all head on black. So if you calling in somebody doing something here or there, you give out the description. That's everybody down here, because they know how to
Wow.
organize. They just need to know how to organize and put that energy toward a positive, more positive directions, like voting and spending our money
Hmm.
in our communities. That's
Yeah.
how I feel. And I
Yeah.
think some
I
unknown
definitely
reason they
agree.
don't see that. And the reason why they don't see that is, as my dad used to always say, the haves and the have-nots. And the have-nots are always going to want what the haves have. So the if you look at the poor neighborhoods or the less disenfranchised people that we have, we're going to always want what everybody else have. So we're going to always spend our money on Jordans. We're going to always spend our money on big cars and nice cars, because we associate wealth and success with having the nice things. when we're
Hmm.
missing the main thing, which is common sense and education and the power of your own dollar.
Right, right. And you know what? They I think what we fail to understand, just as that was done, the power we have when we just come together on one accord. I think when we come together on one accord and we put our minds to it, I believe we can do exceedingly and abundantly. We can make some things change. We can make the rules change. We could show a united front, just get things done. Not only will we get things done, we can also talk to our brothers and our sisters. We could lead and guide them as far as if you see me going down a wrong path. Once we make this connection, hey sis, this is not right. Let's come together. Let me show you a better way. Let me teach you how to do something. And then I have to be willing to learn. I have to be coachable. I have to be open minded to it.
My goddaughter said that she feels like older individuals, me and up, have a negative view of the younger generation. And I really, we were supposed to do a live, but I had so much going on today. Uh,
Okay.
but I don't really, maybe that is, okay, well, let me say, if you say that's your opinion, that's how you feel. You know, they say that's, if you tell a person that's how you feel, we're supposed to accept it. So
Uh,
if that be the truth, let's put it like that, there has to be a place where we can communicate with each other so we can tear down that barrier so that we can hear their voices and they can hear our voices, because I believe that we need each other in order to make this change.
mhm. We do. We do. We need each other to survive, just like that song says. We
Right.
need each other to survive. It's not a big you, it's not
Right.
a little me. We need each other to survive. There are some strong points you have and I'm weak in, and it's vice versa. But if we put our minds together, if we put our thoughts together, put our monies together, we have the power to do some things. We can do it.
We can do
We,
it. And see,
we're
the thing about it is, everybody know that we can do it but us. That's
Yes.
the bad, sad part about it. Everybody knows the power of the black dollar and the black vote, but us. In some kind of way, we need
Yes.
to
Yes.
get that education out about how powerful we are as a people. You know, we are literally powerful. We can turn the
We
world
are.
upside down if we just get it together.
I agree. And it's this last. Okay. So first of all, if we wasn't already going through enough word about COVID, that was already one thing we were going through. So if it wasn't that, then now we have this. And you had to be impacted. It had to touch you some type of way. You know what I'm saying? It had to touch you. It not a human person can say that that was okay. It just was not okay. I mean, and to just see the people out in mass, for this gentleman, and it just
It,
goes to say what we can do when we want to do it. And so
it,
here's what I believe is going on now. So sometimes we talk about being mad, we talk about being sick and tired of things. But when you truly sick and tired of stuff, that's when you make moves. So I think as a nation now, we are truly sick and tired. And I think something's going to change. I think that we have to change. I think us as individuals, we have to change our mindsets. I think we have to change some of our activities. I believe that we have to pull together, as we just said, to teach. Everyone teach one. Violence is not the answer, but we have the ability to build. We have the ability to create. We have the ability to unify. I just believe, and I believe this. I believe
Well,
some
Lisa,
change can
one
happen.
thing for sure is this situation with this injustice and this police brutality has been perpetrated against us for so long, and we have not seen any justice. We see people getting arrested, and then we see them get time served, get 2 years, get a sentence of 2 years and 6 years. Some people go to trial and they don't even get convicted. You know, um, they do everything they can to make sure that they really don't put these white officers in prison, where literally they would be. If I did on the job 10% of what some of these white counterparts did, you wouldn't be having this conversation with me right now. Even on the police department, it's like it's like two separate rules. It's a rule for them and it's a rule for us. And then even when you look at in your communities, when you look at your black communities and your white communities, in the white communities, they're servicing people. In the black community, they're policing us. So
Mm,
therefore, you got kids that seen this stuff for the longest. When I worked in the high school, they used to tell me stuff that the police used to do in their neighborhood that I really didn't believe them. The only reason I started believing them is because several of the young men kept telling me the same thing. That's when I
wow.
believe that this stuff is really happening out here. And so they've been misused, they've been abused, and they're responding out of their pain and out of their anger. Uh, um, Mr. Floyd could have been my son. It could have been me. You know what I'm saying? It could have been anybody because this injustice is almost celebrated in their race of people and their mindsets. When I first became the Chicago police officer, a white officer told me that the police department was the jobs for white families' children who did not go to college. So if you had two kids and one of them went to college and the other one didn't, he would become a police or a fireman. So then when African
Mm,
Americans started coming on the job, they felt as if we were taking their kids' jobs. Can you imagine that?
wow.
So, and the disparity has always been different, even on the job. When you look at the promotions, when you look at all of the different promotions, you can have a class of 25 African American, 25 sergeants that just got promoted. Only two or three would be black, you know, because they think
Mm,
that they the only ones that can take a test. No, that's not true. You know, it's just been disparable. It's terribly disparable. And I believe that the generation of people that have done all that they've did across the world is just showing their anger. And but then there's another piece that we're missing, and that's the piece where you have different white groups that have infiltrated the marches and and started a lot of the looting and destruction of property. Uh,
hmm
and 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 we kind of just followed along, you know. And that's another thing, because I got a picture on my page where you see white people actually looting. They want it to seem like we're the only one that's looting. They out there looting too, you know.
hmm
And then you got
hmm
you got some out there that's fighting and shooting. You know, it's 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 out of order. But like I say, I try to keep an open mind and try to see these people's, the young people's point of view, and I understand the anger. And I thank God that I'm a child of God, because if I wasn't, Lisa, no telling what I would do. When you see this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, you know, you the police. I'm gonna tell you a story. Um, the church that I grew up in, a young man was in a gang, and he went. His mother, his mother and his brothers were getting into it with the opposing gangs in front of the house. One of the guys slapped his mother. When he got home, he found out about it. But his mother went to church. She said, forget it. She went to church. He walked the streets looking for these guys. And while he was walking the street, he had a change of mind and went to the church that his mother went to and told the church, the deacons, he wanted to turn in a gun. Now, you do know we
Mm,
have weapons turned in, right? You can turn in
yep.
a gun with no questions. So he turns in the gun, the police comes, and then the police arrest him and charge him, said he wasn't supposed to have a gun because he was a felon and all of this and all that.
Wow.
When you have a weapons turn in, it's not supposed to be, that don't play a part. So when the pastor called me, I'm like, what do I do? Do I back my police people, or do I stand for what is right? And I did. I went to court and I talked to the state's attorney on behalf of that young man. I don't know who he is. Lisa, he could be on this line with us right now, and I wouldn't know who he is. It was just the principle of the matter that I knew what they did was wrong, and I knew what he did was right. And so they got what they call a confidential number on me, and I wrote up. They was going to give me 15 days, but it got knocked down for 2 days because I wasn't supposed to be in my uniform on my day off into court. So that was my fault. But they tried to give me 15 days for doing what was actually
Wow.
right. You see what I'm saying? And that goes to show you that all police officers, we got some police officers that are doing some great things, and even in Inglewood, I mean some great things. But
Yes, yes.
they're not in the media and all this kind of stuff blowing their horns. They just do what they do because of the love that they have for people. So
Mm-hmm.
we do have some bad seeds and we have some good seeds, but statistics shows when they get those numbers, or like 3 4 years ago when they had the numbers published about all of the cases of abuse in the police department, 99.5% were all white officers. And they're paying thousands and thousands of dollars to settle these cases. No, people don't believe in the police like they used to. You remember that statement? How did they used to call us? Chicago's finest. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe that no more because we're not acting like
No.
Chicago's finest. We acting like a group of thugs.
In fact, they're, I will have to say they're probably one of the most hated industries. I mean, professions is one of the most hated because they don't trust. Now, I'm just gonna be honest. I remember just being pulled over for a ticket. I was coming from choir rehearsal
Mhm.
one Thursday, and I was pulled over like on 68th and Ashland. And I'm like, what did I do? You got sirens. So I was irritated immediately. So the lady comes to the car, license registration, this, that, and the other. And I just felt immediate need to say, I'm going in my purse. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
felt that I had to say this to her. I'm going because she already holding her gun.
Uh-huh.
So I'm truly irritated with her. And so then I'm like, why'd you stop? Then she tell me my front light was out. And so it was my the choir director and now we looked at each other. You act like I done did something just really crazy. And you and your colleagues, like, really?
Yeah, it's something. It's something because I believe there's two things going on. I believe that the citizens are afraid of the police, and I believe that the police are afraid of the citizens. I believe that the police are afraid of the citizens because um, some of these people have never worked with black folk. They have never worked in a black community. You
Mhm.
know, when I was at the school, they used to try to get me to lock the kids up because they were cursing at them. And I said, let me tell you something. To you, your first language is English. To them, their first language is cussing. This is what they grew up on. This is all they know. So when they cuss, they're
Mhm.
not disrespecting you. This is what they do. You know, and they don't understand. That's why when they talk about African American police should police our own areas, and they should police their own area. If they had something like that, you wouldn't see all the crime that you see now. But then too, we all know that that'll never happen. Because they seem to
Right.
love to come into our neighbor in our areas and work. And misuse and abuse our people. And then the thing about it is, even those young people have to understand that even though they do something wrong, you got to cry out. You got to make the necessary reports about if Howard Lindsay does something wrong to you today. You can't have the mindset that they're not going to do nothing to me. Maybe they won't do nothing on that first report, but after they keep getting the same reports about my behavior, then it's going to be looked into. And that's why they have to make sure they
Mhm.
continue to make these complaints, or their parents make these complaints on the behalf of their children. We don't let this stuff go
Yeah.
unchecked. My son goes to a school called Shepherd. You ever heard of that, Palos Heights?
No.
Well, it's a white school. And so one day he tells me that security and off duty police officer came in his gym room and took him and his friend, which happens to be the only two black kids in the class, and took them to the office and searched them, saying that they smelled like marijuana, and somebody said they had some marijuana. So when he told me that, of course, I went up to the school. You ain't taking my
Mm-hmm.
son out of no class talking about he smelled like some marijuana, or somebody told you he smelled like it. So I had the principal, the head of security, and the person who supposedly got that information. So nobody could tell me who these people are and how did this all come to surface. I had to explain to them, if you search one child, you search the whole child. You search all the kids in that classroom. You don't take no one kid out. I said, so what
Right.
you did was you racial profiled my son and this other person because they were black. Like they're the only people who get high. These are not the only kids. And I told them, I know people say they know their kids and what their kids don't do. I do know that my son don't get high. That is what I do know. So after that, please. Every time something happened, they want to call me and say, well, Leland was late. We just want you to know that Leland was late. So now they just trying to overcompensate for what they did. Because I told them, I said, look, we finna go to the media with this. Y'all done messed up. I wanted to say,
Mm-hmm.
the word, but y'all done messed with the wrong kid, because I'm not going to be silent
Exactly.
when you misusing my children. And I'm not going to let my son grow up to think that this is the behavior he has to accept. No, we don't do that. So we have to start fighting for our children, and our children have to stop. My dad used to be tough. My father passed, but my father was a real man. And my father was like, look, when you're wrong, you shut up, and when you're right, you speak up. And that's how I feel. You speak up when you're right, and then you got it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So but here we supposed to have another rally down here tomorrow. We praying that it's not like it was last Saturday. You know, we praying. But on a
Well,
good note,
they've had some
Lisa,
peaceful ones this week.
they had one in the front of my house on King Drive. I had to fight tears. I could not believe it, Lisa. It was over like 2,000 people, white, black, Hispanic, or how they say white and brown. Not one issue. Not one. That was beautiful. From 26 and King
Yeah.
Drive all the way to 51st and like Cottage Grove to that park over there, Diet School. Yeah, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have some good ones, but you know, I just don't want to silence the voice of the young because they have
No, no, absolutely not.
they have their place in the society, and they did what they did because, I mean, to tell the truth, they're the ones that suffer a lot of this abuse, and we're not heard of. They even attacked the young lady who videotaped Mr. Floyd. They attacked her. I read her post on Facebook. I was like, wow, can you believe that? And it had not been for her, we'd have never known. And you wonder how many other cases are out there that we do not know of. So if we don't do
It
something and we don't do
is.
something quick, I mean, it's just and it's gotten out of hand. It has never slowed down. you know so we have to do what we have to do. Like I said, the voices have been heard, so now we just have to make sure that our voices are continually heard and we're moving in a positive direction.
Yeah, I think it was Will Smith who said that this has been an ongoing issue. It's just that now we have cameras and videos that we could take pictures and videos of it happening. Now we
Right,
have evidence.
right, right. I saw that.
Um,
Yeah, it's
hmm hmm So what is
this.
it going to take? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What do you believe it would take to heal the land?
Whew. That's something, because it's been said that they believe that if those other three officers got arrested, we could go back to peace. Being arrested and being convicted is two different things. So
Mm,
I don't think that that doesn't mean anything. Being arrested doesn't mean anything. You know, um, but I believe that as far as injustice is concerned, um, it's just treating us like human beings. Period. You know, treat me like you would treat your own brother. Or your own sister. You know,
mhm.
we watched the video where they struggled and pulled a white man out of a car, and they did everything but shoot him. And he took the officer's baton, beat them, and jumped in their car and ran off. They didn't shoot at the car. I would have been dead. I'd have been dead before I got the car started.
Yes.
Treat us like you treat them. We are human. Recognize that we're human. See, they want, they want all of the behavior to start on the inside and move outward. And when I say that, they want us to start at our own race, fix it ourselves. But we can't fix ourselves until you fix what you've done to us. So when they get to the
Mhm.
place where they'll stop doing and stop mistreating us and give us fair shake all across the board, then we can start talking about some healing. You know, we still got areas that we can't live in. We still got
Mhm.
areas where they tearing up our properties, putting folk out of their homes, then come back and buy that same property and put high taxes
Yeah.
on it. And if you stay there in that community, make the taxes so high that you can't afford your own house. You know, all of this redlining. We got a whole lot of stuff that they need to fix in order for us to start
Mhm.
healing.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a lot. I agree. I believe that, but I believe it's going to take a lot. But I'm praying for it to happen. I'm looking forward to seeing the victories. The healing of the land, the drying of the tears, the for us to be treated equally. Now I know it's gonna take some doing. Dr. King fought for that a long time ago, and that was 1,000 years ago. I mean, 60 and whatnot, but it's still an ongoing fight. It's like we're fighting every day. We're fighting. You talking about I can't breathe. We really can't, because if they hear us breathing, they want to snatch it away from us. Just that. Just that. You don't want me to talk about me for not being successful. But then when I try, you still not happy.
We got,
Now I'm something from you.
how they say stuff starts from the top. It starts at the
Mm.
top. Well, the person that we have at the top is the worst person in the world. The president of the United States. We're supposed to honor him and honor his office, but this guy doesn't act like a president. He doesn't. He has one of the baddest, worst disposition as a president than anybody in the entire world. He doesn't talk to people right. He talks down to people. I think that he is, and I'm going to say it on this here live, that I think he is one of the biggest bigots and biggest racists that there is. And I think that he
Yeah.
has, and he doesn't hide. He doesn't hide from it, and that makes other people think it's okay for us to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama won presidency, I thought that was it. I thought everything was getting ready to change. We were getting ready to keep it moving, and what we saw was white America in the area of policing turned up their attacks against African Americans. And it was all because we had a black man in office. That's when they
They
started
were mad
really
about
started,
that. They did not like that at all.
right. And they started doing, I mean, they was taking it to the 10th power and misusing and abusing people. And see, the thing about it is, not only are these police doing it, we got these judges that are doing the same thing, putting people in
Mm-hmm.
jail for hundreds of years for smoking a cigarette on the public way. You know what I'm saying? We need to get rid of the judges. We need to get rid of all of that, and that's why it's important that we vote. That's why it's important that we get educated on who we
Vote.
should be voting for, and get these people out of office. You
Yeah,
know,
voting is a must.
and we need to
All
get
the
that into this generation's mind. Some kind of way we have to get that into their mind that it is very important that we vote. It makes a real big difference. Just like the census make a real big difference. People still haven't filled out their census. They think it's useless. You know, all of that has a purpose in our communities. I think that, somebody said, where are the pastors? Where are the churches? Where are the pastors? Where are the churches? To tell you the truth, some of
Mhm.
them jokers are scared too. That's just to tell the truth. Some of those jokers are scared. Some of those jokers, I hate to say this, I know some of my friends gonna be mad at me, but look, I've seen these guys sell out for daycares. When Daley was in office, he gave them a daycare that they can have in their church, Lisa. Once he gave them that daycare, they just got their whole church to vote for him. It was the controlling factor. When I ran for alderman, this judge told me, whatever you do not take anything. And if you do, make sure you give it all away. Because if you don't, they got you. And if they have you, you're no good to your people. You have to vote the way they want you to vote. You can vote your conscience. You have to vote the way the mayor and his team want you to vote. So we have people that are backing down. We have people in office, but they're not standing up for us. And that's important. We have to have pastors that stand up for the people. We have to have aldermen that stands up for the people. You know, what happened to for the people and by the people, or by the people for the people? Now, these folks get in office and it's all about that check, and they don't care about us. Really, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I told this one guy, you know, he has, and you know, at least my biggest problem is I had this problem with speaking the truth. Sometimes it gets you in trouble,
Hey,
but I have this one guy. He's married to a Caucasian lady, and I had two conversations with him, and I was like, something wrong with this brother. And then somebody told me why. You know, they say he really don't feel like he's one of us. I was like, oh, that's the problem. Listen, to me, you can be married to whoever you want to be. But when the stuff hits the fan and they stop you in that street, they're not going to say, oh, Howard's okay. He got a white wife. He lives in the suburbs. No, you're another nigger. That's what you are. And they will wake you up and let you know that you are
yes, they
not
will.
like them. And so, therefore, you should never forget who you are. And you should always be for your race. Always for your race. I have nothing against interracial marriages. I mean, whoever you love, that's fine, as long as they love you. But never forget who you are. That's so important.
Yeah,
And never try to make excuses for who you are. You got to be who you are, and they have to like you
that's
and
it.
love you for who that you are. And if they can't, we just keep it moving. That's all. We just keep it moving. We ain't gonna hate nobody because they don't like us. But doggone it, we gonna fight and make sure we continue to fight till we get respected as a human being.
Exactly. That's what we want. We want the
That's it.
respect. We want to be treated like human beings. Pastor Lindsay, I so appreciate you joining me this evening. I pray that someone is listening. Maybe some of our younger people are listening and are blessed and will just take a moment to think, just think outside about the box of what we all can do together to
Right,
make things better for us. It's not a you, it's not a I, it's us together. It's going to take all of us
right.
to do this thing, to make the changes that are required. So I appreciate you. Do you have anything coming up that you want to invite people to? Maybe at your church or something. We can do that now.
No, we still closed. We not
Oh,
opening.
that's right.
We still closed,
Oh, I
Lisa. We ain't gonna be in
forget.
no
I
hurry either.
forget. Huh?
I said, and we're not gonna be in a hurry to open up either.
Oh no, 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 no. We gonna follow the rules. That's what
Right.
we doing too. Pastor Joe is not gonna allow us to do. We're gonna follow the rules. But with that said, I'm praying for you and your family. Give the
Thank you.
boys big hugs. We're still looking for the next step with our theme. So it's supposed to go up into where it was on 87 Studio Movie Grill, but with
Mm,
everything going on, so we have to wait and see. So it's a wait and see game. But I will tell you that it has been submitted to some film festivals, and we should have our results sometime this month. So
that's good.
that's
Congratulations.
that's a good thing. And I see my assistant has jumped in here. I have a granddaughter who just thinks she's supposed to monopolize and everything. But God bless you and God keep you. And thank you all who are joining with us this evening for your comments and just for staying to listen in. God bless you and may God continue to keep you. And I'll be back here on next Friday at 7:30. See
All
you.
right. God bless you.
Talk to you later. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye.